Hey guys, what is up? And I want to show you this, which I found hilarious today, which Twitter, by the way, is on fire today. So, obviously this is Monsters Inc. And the kid wakes up, because, the monster's in his room. But, as you can see kind of right there, that's not a monster. Yes, it's 3:05 in the morning, but, I'm going to play you this real quick. So that's obviously the George Lopez show, which was on, quite a few years ago. But 3:05 in the morning, George Lopez show was on. So I thought that was funny. I just wanted to show you guys that. So obviously you're here because you want to go over the Steelers schedule. Don't mind any of this stuff. Just we're gonna keep scrolling. Oh, Frank Caliendo, go check out this video he made. Okay, hilarious. He imitates the coaches, like not every single coach, but various coaches from NFL teams. So I'll just show you this really quick. Just show you a little bit of it.
Whatever.
So.
What was that? Whatever.
Let's see, what do we have here? Win.
I don't give a rat's word.
Alright, we're done with that. But if you guys want to go watch, so he did, obviously, as you see, Andy Reid, John Gruden, John, and Bruce Arians. But he also did Belichick, Sean McVay. I'm trying to think if you do any other coaches. He did Belichick, he did Sean McVay as well. That might be it. But that was very funny. So Twitter, just to me, on fire this year. So, this picture of Dak. I'm the best quarterback in the NFL. Oh boy, that's a good one. I'm the best quarterback in the NFC. Nice try. I'm the best quarterback in the division. Nope. I'm the best quarterback in Texas. Try again. I'm the best quarterback on my team. Lol. So I found that funny too. We found Alejandro Villanueva's twin. That's Al. And that's the new Steelers offensive lineman, Stefan Wisniewski. So ta-da! Like, you see the resemblance here, right? So we found his twin. New numbers for the Steelers players that are new. The free agent acquisitions and draft picks. 85 for Ebron, so he keeps that number. Derek Watt will now have 44 because he had 34 both in college and with the Chargers, but Edmonds has 34. So he'll take 44. He'll take Dirty Red's number. Or I guess his old number, seeing how he's with the Bills now. Wisniewski has 61, just like he did with his teams before. Chris Wormley is going to be going from 93 with the Ravens to 95 here. Then Claypool has 11. Highsmith has 56. Anthony McFarland will take 26, so we have a running back that has 26 again. Kevin Dotson has 69. Antoine Brooks has 25, just like he did at Maryland. And Carlos Davis will take 73, which was obviously Ramon Foster's number. Trying to see what else. Is there anything else good? Obviously Zach Banner and his, when you have victory formation, you obviously have to go all out. And you got to do that head turn. What else? James Harrison pushed almost 2,000 pounds, almost an entire ton of weights, and he's 42 years old. So I'm still not sure if he's human or not. I don't know if anyone's checked. I have to talk to the Steelers doctors. Maybe he's not. But here we go. Let's talk about the Steelers schedule. Just want to show you guys some funny things I found on Twitter before we hopped into this. Because when I stream, I play a song for the first couple minutes. One, lets some people filter in. But also, it's good to start with something, instead of just having the stream start and have it be quiet, get some energy in there with a song. Anyway, but week 1, we are going to open up on Monday Night Football. Now, this says 7:15, but I've seen other reports, so I have no idea on if it's actually like an 8:15, 8:30. I've seen some people say that, but I'm going to go off the 7:15 Eastern time. But that is Monday, September 14th. So we are the second to last game of the week. Obviously, there's going to be a game after that on Monday night. Week 1, there's always 2 Monday night games. Now, preseason really doesn't matter now, and that's kind of thing because we don't know with what's going on right now. When is the NFL season going to start? Is it going to be on time? What's the preseason going to look like? Are we going to... Sorry, I was about to yawn. It'd be hard to make your roster cuts from 90 all the way down to 53 without even having a single preseason game. Because then you really don't know who's good, who's not. Now, let's say you can't have a single preseason game. I would say at the beginning of the year, you're allowed to, and this won't affect your salary cap. At the beginning of the year, you're allowed to have 90 guys on your roster. By week 4, at the end of week 4, you have to have the 53. Now, I say that because there's 4 preseason games, except, if you have the Hall of Fame game. And, that would give them practice. That would give, people time to practice, and obviously practice is different than actual games, but that at least gives you some time to actually look at people on a field. I'm sure they're going to figure out something. Now you have to push stuff back. But yeah, so you're going to be at Giants that game. Then the home opener will be week 2, but it figures we're going to be on the road again to start the season. Week 2, we're going to be home against the Broncos. That is a 1 p.m. game. We have a lot of 1 p.m. games. We don't have many primetime games. We have 4, I believe. 4 primetime games. 1 game at 4:25, which you can see is at Cowboys. Other than that, it's all 1 p.m. stuff. So, what else? Week 3 versus the Texans, it will be a home game. That's another 1 p.m. And then we got at Titans. We got versus Eagles. We will be versus Browns. So week 6, Myles Garrett comes to Pittsburgh for the first time since the incident with Mason Rudolph. Because if you remember, we played the Browns at Browns first, and then we played the Browns at home versus, So that's going to be interesting because Myles Garrett got suspended immediately after that. So he never got a chance last year to play at Pittsburgh. This is his first game at Pittsburgh since the incident. And I am willing to bet that the people of Pittsburgh will welcome him with open arms. Week 7, we're going to Baltimore. Then we got the bye week right in the middle of the season, which is kind of nice because here's the thing. If you have it too early in the season and you make it to the playoffs, then you're tired. You're still beat up at that point. But if you have it somewhere in the middle, that's good because you've had some time, some playing time. But you get to rest, you get to regroup, and you get to prepare for the second half of the season, which it's pretty much a half. Obviously, you have 7 games, and then you're going to have 9. So a week 9 bye is literally the middle, because that'd be 8 and 8. But still not bad overall. Then if you have your bye week late in the season, you're tired, so rest is really good. Maybe you're, a little fresher if your team does make the playoffs. But like I said, the bye week is also a chance to regroup yourself, because let's say your bye week is week 5, right? And you're coming into it at 1-3. You have your week 5 bye week. You regroup, and let's say you run 3 games right in a row. You just went from 1-3 to 4-3. So that can kind of be nice. Whereas, let's say, you're late in the season, it could be too late at that point. So every spot has its, advantages and disadvantages, but I like that, mid-season bye. After the bye, off to Dallas. Now, I have no idea what's going to happen with Dak Prescott. I don't. He could be playing at this point. He could not be playing at this point, and you're facing Andy Dalton. I have no idea. No one knows what's going to happen with Dak and his contract situation. Week 10, we're getting the Bengals in Pittsburgh. So this game's interesting because, Joe Burrow has had half a season, slightly more than half a season. I don't know when the Bengals bye week is, so let's say about a half a season to kind of learn how to be an NFL player. But also, now you're not strictly relying on college film. You actually have NFL film on Joe Burrow. So that's really nice. Because if you were to have, the Bengals week 2 or week 1, you're literally just looking at college film. Which college, yes, he played in the SEC, which is basically the college equivalent, the closest thing to the NFL you can get in college. But it's still a different animal. So you have that. Then week 11, go right down to Jacksonville. But here's the thing. Jacksonville, warm weather, right? But it's November. It's November. It's not 80 degrees. It's not 90 degrees. So you're not in a sauna. You're not dying of heat. So that's really awesome there. Now, you're going to face Baltimore at home. That's Thanksgiving. November 26th, Thursday. 8:20 p.m. That is Thanksgiving. So that is really cool. It's going to be Baltimore at Pittsburgh, Thanksgiving. I'm psyched for that. Then, week 13, you're facing the Redskins at home. Another 1 p.m. game. Now, this was a game I was a little excited about because I didn't know when the game was going to be, but we obviously knew who you're facing and where. We knew that, a few months ago. A couple months ago, something like that. So, it's week 14 at Buffalo. I live like an hour away from Buffalo. So this was a game. Now, last year, I posted not really a video montage, but I posted clips I took, videos and pictures that I took while on my trip to Pittsburgh last season when they faced the Buffalo Bills. I've been to 3 Steelers games. 2 against the Bills, 1 against the Chargers. 2 in Pittsburgh, 1 in Buffalo. So yes, I was at the Steelers game when they lost to the Chargers a couple years ago. But the game I was at in Buffalo was my sophomore year of college, I want to say. I think it was my sophomore year of college. And I went, and that was the game where it snowed like no one's business. It was cold as no one's business. And Bell had almost 300 yards. I think he had 298 yards that game, and he outgained the entire Bills offense, who had 275 yards. They won the game, I think, 28-21. Let me think. I think it was 28-21, and the Bills had to try an onside kick to try to win the game or tie the game at the end to go to overtime. And their kicker at the time was Dan Carpenter. And he onsided it and went maybe 5 yards. So obviously no Bills player is allowed to touch that ball, otherwise it's illegal touching, automatically Steelers ball, but it went out of bounds anyway. But from where I was sitting, if I can, I'll dig up a picture and I'll and I'll put it up right now for you guys to see where I was sitting. But from where I was sitting, right in the corner of that end zone, I was in position to see 2 of Bell's touchdowns, a touchdown for Sammy Watkins, and to see either Carpenter miss a field goal or an extra point. He missed one of them where it hit the upright, and like you heard the ball hit it. So that was actually really cool to hear that. So I was in like a really good spot for that game. But it was cold, it was snowy. I had 2 layers of socks on. My feet were still freezing. I was bundled up as could be. But, I stuck it in there because Steelers. And my experience, that was the first season that it was called New Era Field. The first season they had it as New Era instead of Ralph Wilson Stadium. So, everyone in Buffalo, as I was entering, there were a couple people like heckling. A couple Bills fans that were heckling. But once I was in the stadium and we were watching the game, everyone there was so nice. They were talking to me, just Bills fans talking to me. Because I had obviously my Steelers stuff on, so they knew who I was cheering for, but still, they were like super nice. At that time, I was going to University at Buffalo, so that's why it was so easy for me to go. Then obviously last year, I went to go see them, and the Steelers lost that one. But it'll be cool to go see another game in Buffalo if possible. I was hoping this would be, kind of like October-ish, so it's not hot, but it's not cold, and a 1 p.m. game. That way it's easy to get there, and then it's easy to get back. No, you're going to make it Sunday night in December. Why? That game could always get flexed, but I don't think it's gonna, because I do believe both the Steelers and Bills will be, playing for the playoff spots at that point. Now, whatever seeds, who the hell knows? But I do believe they'll both be fighting for playoffs at that point. So I doubt that gets flexed out. So I might still go to that, might not. I have no idea. If I do, expect another video montage of it. Week 15 at Bengals. So that's going to be an interesting one. We get a second shot at Joe Burrow. This one is another night game. So the Steelers have 2 primetime games back-to-back. So think about this, right? In the span of 1, 2, 3... In the span of 4 games, the Steelers have 3 primetime games. Right towards the end of the season. Weeks 12, 14, and 15. All primetime. Thursday night, a Sunday night, and a Monday night. Yeah. What else? So they go from a primetime week 1, and they don't have another primetime game until week 12. Yes, they have a later game against the Cowboys week 9. But besides that, they're not very spread out, evenly. They're just, you have the 3 games in 4 weeks. After that, you get the Colts. Week 16, so Eric Ebron will be facing his old team. Hydrate or die. And week 17, you're going to go to Cleveland, the scene of the crime. Please do not take that literal. I'm not necessarily calling that a crime. I'm not necessarily saying that Myles Garrett actually committed a crime. That's just the expression. So, if there's any Browns fans or anyone that thinks, that it was blown out of proportion, yes, Myles was wrong, but blah, 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 just an expression. So, and I'm willing to bet the Browns fans are just as willing to be open arms when the Steelers come to town, just like the Steelers fans will be for them. So, that's really all I got. We don't play the Chargers. An interesting one is the Texans at Pittsburgh, because all 3 Watts are going to be on the field. It's like last year. with the three Edmonds brothers. Now, all three Watts are on the field. Two for the Steelers, one for the Texans. So obviously the Watt parents will be there. So I can't believe that wasn't made a primetime game. Having all three Watts, why wouldn't you want that primetime? Oh well. You can't flex that, it's too early in the season. But I am a little surprised that that wasn't made a primetime game. I'm trying to think of other Steelers free agents that they got. I mean, obviously Wormley's going to face the Ravens twice. But yeah, you got Wormley, Watt, and Ebron were the three players that they acquired that, one Wormley through a trade, obviously, but Ebron and Watt through signing. And then all the draft picks, they'd have no beef with these teams. Unless if a team said, hey, we're going to take you, and then, didn't. But yeah. Anyone leave the Steelers that signed with any of these teams? I'm trying to think. Javon Hargrave's going to come back. He signed with the Eagles, so he's coming back to Pittsburgh. He probably will be, he actually would be welcomed, I think. We're going to see Dirty Red against the Bills as long as he makes the roster. I mean, I know Hargrave's going to make the roster because, one, he's a good player, but two, they gave him a huge contract. Dirty Red, he didn't really get a huge contract. Redskins, we're going to face Chase Young. So, the number 2 pick in the draft. Giants, we're obviously going to see Saquon and Daniel Jones. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, if Dak really holds out that long, then obviously we'll see Andy Dalton for the Cowboys. Who else? We're going to see King Henry when we go to Tennessee. That's about it, really. I mean, I know we're going to face, J.K. Dobbins. We're going to face Jonathan Taylor. A couple guys that the Steelers fans really wanted the Steelers to draft. That's about it, really. I can't think of anyone else. I know Zach Moss, who, still Steelers fans had their eyes on. I know he got drafted by the Bills. So there's a couple of guys that, it's going to be interesting. How do they perform versus the Steelers, or how do they perform over the year in general, should the Steelers have drafted them? And then, you're going to compare the Steelers draft picks to them. So you're going to compare McFarland to Dobbins, or McFarland to Taylor. Which, now, is that fair? Probably not. Because you're going to compare Taylor, a second-round pick, to McFarland, who was a fourth. But then the question is, was McFarland a fourth because of his ankle injury and because of the pandemic? Now teams can't get a good look at him, so his stock drops. So should he have been picked in the second or third round? I mean, I saw a thing by Reggie Bush. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, guys, so before we get into that, I'm going to say one more thing. I thought about this real quick. If you look pretty much from Jacksonville on, because it's at Jacksonville, right? And even the season, but that's November. That's when it starts to get cold. But even look at the entire schedule as a whole as well. We don't get a single warm weather team in Pittsburgh when it's cold. Look at that. So you take November, right? Start in the month of November. Yeah, October it gets cold. I mean, you can go through the entire damn schedule. We're at Giants, but Giants are a cold weather team. The Broncos, cold weather team. The Texans, guess what? It's September. So yeah, they're in the South. They're in Texas. But it's September. You're at Tennessee versus Philly. Guess what? Cold weather. Browns, cold weather. Ravens, cold weather, but it's at their place anyway. The Cowboys, another Southern team. And it's at their place. The Bengals, cold weather. The Jags, warm weather, but at their place. Ravens, cold weather. Redskins, cold weather. Bills, cold weather, but at their place. Bengals, cold weather, but at their place. Doesn't matter. I'm going to skip week 16 and I'll get back to that. It's Browns, cold weather, but it's at their place. One thing I'm going to say about the Colts. Yes, it can get cold in Indianapolis, but guess what? They play in a dome. They're in Pittsburgh in December. Now, remember as well, Philip Rivers is the quarterback for the Colts now. But look at that. They're a dome team, but now they're going to play in Pittsburgh while it's cold. That's like the one thing I'm going to say about that. They don't play any warm weather teams when it's cold at Pittsburgh, in Pittsburgh, when it's cold. Not a single one. Like you could say, okay, Texans or Cowboys, if they were later in the season, like even November, yeah, it's getting a little cold in November, but it's not terrible. But it's at Dallas. But that's nice because then, again, they play in a dome, but I know it has like the retractable roof. But still, the one team, it's a dome team. We got the Colts. So we're not going to get a cold weather advantage this year either. So that's just something I wanted to add. Back to whatever I was doing. I can't even remember now because I'm recording this later. We're pretty much done with the schedule. Let's see if we can find the thing about right here.
Guy I'm very excited about is Anthony McFarland, a running back from Maryland. Kid can flat out fly, explosive. He is a game-breaking type of player, and I think he has the ability to be just as good as Le'Veon Bell, or if not better.
What?
Yes.
Wait.
I like him.
That's a while. As good
I like him that much.
Bell?
If you watch him in college, you watch him, you see he has the ability to play out of the backfield. He can catch the ball in space. He's explosive, and the Pittsburgh Steelers love to run the football. But it's the way they love to run the football. They use those tackles and those tight ends, and they pull. And what that does for running backs is if they just get a crease. You get a running back like Anthony McFarland. If he just gets a crease, he's gone.
So, yeah, for those of you that don't know, McFarland's like a small guy, but he's not like a lightweight. Like, he's not Dree Archer, who was, 5'7", 5'8", maybe 5'9", and, like 5'9", if he, like, really went for it, and he was probably, like, 180 pounds soaking wet. No. McFarland's 5'9", but he's 200 pounds. So he ain't a lightweight. He's not the small guy who's 160, 170 pounds that can run a 4.2 whatever. He's got weight to him, but he's so explosive. So I think a reason he dropped, though, was indeed because of his ankle injury, and teams couldn't really look at him. Now, he says he's 100% from it, so we'll see what happens. Other than that, that's all I got for you guys, really. If you like some of the stuff I showed you, go follow me on Twitter. It is at pit_steel_. Just like YouTube channel. Same thing, except just add the at the beginning of it. So if you like some of the stuff that you saw on this, go follow me. But, yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Yep. So, all I'm going to say is that if you really think this... Now, I'm going to do a short little draft recap as well, because I made a video for it, and I never edited it, so I don't know if it's worth uploading now. I can, but... if you don't think the Steelers had a good draft, don't think they had a good free agency. One, I never doubt them drafting wide receivers. But two, yeah, Reggie Bush can be completely wrong, or he could be completely right. He honestly feels that this guy's Le'Veon Bell, if not better. He took Lev Bell's number. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. My phone went off. But yeah, if you like, some of the tweets, go follow me on Twitter. So if you guys enjoyed this, please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I think I will do the draft recap. Later.
Once I was 7 years old, Mama told me, go make yourself some friends or you'll be lonely. Once I was 7 years old.